Well, first of all, I talked directly to an issue that I've been fighting on all my life, which was criminal justice. You know, we're in Detroit. I live in the inner city of Newark, New Jersey. These aren't abstract issues, or these aren't issues of the past. This is about what's happening right now in communities. There are people in jail right now because of the legislation that Joe Biden has taken responsibility for. He said that every crime bill since the 1970s, major and minor, has had his name on it. And so I'm frustrated as heck that there are people in prison or gone to jail for doing things that two of the last three presidents admitted to doing. And so we have a real crisis in our country with mass incarceration. If I wasn't running for president, I would be speaking passionately about these issues. And I believe, if you look at the vice president's record, look at mine, I'm far better to lead on this issue and end what I think is a cancer on the soul of this country, which is the land of the free. Is also the incarceration nation by locking up more than people than any other. In fact, we're 5% of the globe's population, but 1 out of every 4 incarcerated people on this planet is here in the United States. That's got to end.
You want to line that Kool-Aid,
You
Joe
speak
Biden.
passionately about racial segregation. Do you think there's an issue with racism within your party and not just with the president?
I think that we have an institutional racism problem in our country. And one of the issues I talked about, mass incarceration, is just an example. We have had a drug war, which has not been a war on drugs. It's been a war on people, and not all people. Usually low-income people, usually addicted people, and disproportionately black and brown people. That's institutional racism when we have what Michelle Alexander calls a new Jim Crow. Why? Because of disproportionate incarceration. Remember, there's no difference in America between blacks and whites for using drugs or dealing drugs. But we live in a nation right now that if you're African American, you're almost 4 times more likely to be incarcerated for it. And so that's problematic. And so, look, there's too much, often there's too much rhetoric that divides. I'm trying to unite this country to deal with challenges because this affects us all. Villanova University said there would be 20% less poverty in America if our incarceration rates were the same as our industrial peers.
Do you think, though, that it's disqualifying Joe Biden's race record?
I just hope, just forget the politics of it for a second. I just hope that Joe Biden can speak to his record, can have the courage to say, I was wrong on these points. 3 strikes, you're out, or wrong on the over-prosecution of marijuana. These are things that, there are people in prison right now unjustly that I hope he can speak to them even, people from communities like mine, and just say, I was wrong, and hey, I'm not going to just have a plan, I'm going to have a plan that's better than, and more robust, more bold. It frustrated me that from my clemency plan to my marijuana plan, I'm going bolder than he is, and frankly, there are a lot of folks in the other party that agree with me on these issues. So if they can go there, come on, he can go there as well. And so let's pull the politics out of it for a second. What he took responsibility for, every major crime bill since the 1970s, is one of the reasons why this nation spent billions and billions of dollars building a new prison or jail every 10 days. The time I was in law school, the time I was mayor of the city of Newark, literally, our rest of our infrastructure was crumbling, but we were prison building to have an 800% increase in the federal prison population, 500% increase overall. That is a real problem that we need to speak to.